why the President, Barack Obama, tried to expand the pool of those who could be qualified to get access. Remember, y'all, Medicaid is for working people. A lot of people confuse that these are people who are sitting at home shiftless, want to lay down and collect a check all day. These are working people. But because of the virtue of the work and what they get paid, they can't afford insurance. So it's my belief that we got to make sure that at the very least we expand access to health care for those 700,000 individuals. Now we got a governor right now, Rick Scott, who is even trying to shrink the number of days that you can go to qualify for Medicaid. I mean, that's his effort. Don't get it twisted. These commercials of no red, no blue, I have no. Measure this man by his record. Not by what he says. You measure him by his record. And now he's working overtime to ensure that we don't get people who need access to get the access that they need. Under Governor Gillum, we will absolutely work to expand access, and we're not going to cut the number of days available for folks to then sign up for that access. But that's who we're talking about, a number of the indigent who can't get access, largely because of their wage and what they get paid. Over here, this man.
Good evening, Mayor Gillum. Thank you for the opportunity to engage. I'm Speaker James Holly, actually a candidate for City Council District 8, but also serve as the Executive Director for Community Development Corporation, also in the district. And one of the challenges that we face is affordable housing. Recently, in the National Low Income Housing Coalition report, it had stated that it's becoming a harsh reality for most people, affordable housing, specifically in our district. And one of our goals is to provide safe and affordable housing. What is your plan or view on being able to provide that for the citizens of Florida?
Oh, well, one, I wish you the very best of luck as you seek to serve the people of this community. But to your question, I'm a big believer in affordable housing and in workforce housing. And I'll give you a couple of suggestions as to what I think we can do. The first thing that the governor can do is veto any budget that comes across his desk that has the Sadowski funds, which are intended for providing affordable housing funding around the state. If those monies are diverted out and put toward filling holes in the general budget, that budget will be vetoed. The affordable housing dollars that are allowed, I think last year they may have taken $85 million out of it alone. Every year of Rick Scott's administration, they have swept those Sadowski dollars over to the general budget so that they could do tax breaks and whatever other property that they have. Affordable housing is a crisis all over the state of Florida where people are not being able to afford to work and to live and to work and to live next to where they choose. And so what we have said is, one, we need to fully fund the Sadowski Act. But there's some other things that can be done as well. And by the way, this will be a partnership between local government and the state. In my community, I was proud to be a sponsor of what is known as an inclusionary housing ordinance. What that means is for every 50 units of housing that's developed, at least 10% of it has to be dedicated toward affordable housing. Now those ratios may change depending upon the community that you're in. Maybe it's broken out into rural, small, medium, large counties. But there's no reason why we can't have a statewide program on the designating of affordable housing for all new developments. The other thing that we can do, and again, this is a partnership between the locals and the state, is to create land trust. There are properties all throughout Duval County that are government owned, land, vacant. Something that you can do with that land is the local government can choose to be aggregated and to dedicate it to a land trust. And then they can work with a P3, a private developer, or maybe even a government developer, a CHODO or a nonprofit, and they can commit to creating affordable housing on those public lands into perpetuity, 99 years, so that regardless of what the development trends are, the housing stock remains available so that folks are able to live, work, and play in the same community. This is a crisis all over the state. And it's worse, it's a crisis for the future of economic development in the state. If businesses can't locate here and expect that their employees can be housed near where they work or in their communities, then they don't choose us. And unfortunately, we're giving them a lot of reasons not to choose us. 40th out of 50th in education. Lowest starting salary for teachers. Bad commitment to high standardized, high stakes testing, which again, that tells us what we need to know. a refusal to expand Medicaid in the state, the refusal to take money to build high-speed rail across the state. We got a lot of reasons we're giving people not to choose us. There's some things we can do to turn that around and make the state of Florida the state of choice, not just for a weekend or a week of tourism, and not just for retirement to shelter money, right? But as a place where people can invest, live, work, play, grow a business, innovate, create, retire. Yes, vacation, but we want to keep more permanent people here and build a kind of state where people want to choose to live, not just stumble into, right? Thank you for the question. Yes, ma'am.
We have 2 more questions.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
Hello. So your opponent, Gwen Graham, has resisted releasing documents from her time in Congress, and I was just wondering if you think she should be more transparent about that. Thank you.
Well, I think we all have to be as open and transparent. Gwen Graham was my member of Congress when, I'm still mayor of the city of Tallahassee, but while she was served 2 years in Congress, she represented the city of Tallahassee in Congress. Where Gwen and I disagree is not on personality. I think she's a fine individual. Where we disagree, we're on the issues. I disagree with the fact that her first year in Congress, her 1 or 2 years in Congress, she voted against President Barack Obama 52% of the time. I disagree that during her 1 term in Congress, that she voted twice to approve the Keystone Pipeline. I resent that while in Congress, she voted to ban Syrian refugee immigration practically into this country, a Republican bill that was, quite frankly, just hateful and a scare tactic. And we tried to keep good Democrats from falling into that trap, and I regret that she voted with them on that piece of legislation. Where she and I disagree is on issues. It isn't personal. I think personally, I think highly of her as a person, that she's a decent and honorable person, and I'm thankful for the contributions her family has made to the state. But when it comes to being the standard bearer for the Democratic Party and being the best person to go up and to represent what we believe, what our values are, where we stand not in times of comfort and convenience, but when it's tough, when your back is against the wall and you need a governor to have your back, we need to know that we will have that governor. It's one of the reasons why I'm running.